Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be taking you through the process of how I made this dress. If it is something you are interested in, keep watching. For this dress, I made use of 2.5 yards of duchet fabric, but if you are a plus size, 3 yards should be perfect. There are several methods used to cut a cowl neckline, but I'll be opting for the easiest method, which is to draft a basic bodice before using it to cut the cowl neckline. First of all, I am marking my shoulder measurement, which is 7.5 inch, and I am marking my shoulder slope, which is 1 inches. The next thing is to mark the length of my armhole, and then I am taking my shoulder measurement again so I can have a straight line to mark my armhole length. After marking the straight line, I will mark out my shoulder slope and then take my half length measurement, which is 17 inches. All of this is to serve as a guide to help me cut the cowl neckline. Just follow as the video progresses. After taking this straight line, the next thing is to mark the midpoint of my armhole length and then take out ½ inch from the midpoint. This is to give me the armhole curve. After marking out that point, the next thing is to take out my bust measurements, which is 34 inches divided by 4, and that gives me 8.5 inch. The next thing is that I am marking out my chest line. I'm just taking out the straight line before marking my bust measurements, adding 2 inch, and I'm also going to curve my armhole and then mark my waist measurements. After curving my armhole, the next is to mark my waist measurements, and I added 2 inch allowance also to the measurements. The next thing is to cut out my pattern. Please pay attention to how I am cutting out the pattern, and also note that for the chest line, I did not cut the pattern to the end. Yes, just note that. The next thing is to transfer my pattern to my fabric. I folded in 3 inches. I didn't measure it, but it is at least, you can fold in 4, but make sure that it is at least 3 inches. And then I started taking the full length of my dress from that 3 inches that I measured. After taking the full length of my dress, the next thing is to place the pattern on the fabric. Please pay attention to every details, and also pay attention to how I pinned down the pattern to the fabric. Note that the midpoint of the pattern is placed on the fabric. The only part that is set apart is the wideness of my cowl measurements. I made use of 7 inches there, but if you want to show cleavage and you have more materials, you can see that the end of the pattern is even at the end of the fabric, so taking it higher means that you will need more fabric. So if you have more fabrics, or you are a plus size, you have more fabrics and you want to show more cleavage, you can raise it as high as 8 inches or 9 inches, but I think you shouldn't go beyond 9 inches. And if you do not want to show cleavage, then 7 inches is perfect. Please note how the pattern is placed on the fabric. The next thing I am doing is to take out my hip measurements, and to do that I am marking out my hip line, which is 7 inches. I use 7 inches because remember, the pattern has been the pattern is already down. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but the fact that we placed the pattern and then we had to take it higher, so I'm taking out my hip measurement. Another thing to note is that for this particular dress, this dress is not a shaped dress. This dress does not have a zipper, so every measurement I am taking is at least 3 inches more than my actual measurements. I've cut out my pattern. The next thing is to cut out the armhole. For the armhole, I started out by taking 4.5 inch for the bicep line, and then I measured 4 inches for the armhole cap. Then I am taking my armhole measurements so I can be sure. I'm marking out my armhole measurement on the bicep line, And after taking my armhole measurement on the bicep line, I'm going to divide the biceps line into 2, and then I am going to take my curve the first part upwards and curve the second part downward. Just pay attention to the video. Yes, you just turn your French curve and then you curve the other side downwards. After curving the bicep, I'm sorry, I did not know that the camera did not show the other parts of the video. But after measuring the curve, the next thing is to take out my round sleeve measurements plus 2 inches for ease. I'll be cutting a bell sleeve, which means that the down part of the sleeve is going to be wider than the upper part of the sleeve. So to get the bell sleeve, I'll have to do like an A line towards the ending. So the shape of my armhole was just from the beginning to the midpoint of my arm, and then the other part I just used my ruler to draw to the end of the fabric. So after cutting out my fabric, the next thing I will do is to take 1/2 inch upwards from the down part of the sleeve. This is to help me get a nice curve around the down part of the sleeve. The next thing is to sew the dress. Remember, this dress does not have a lining, so the first thing to do would be to fold the edges of the dress. I used 2 inch to fold the edge of the dress, and now it's the actual sewing of the neckline. Please pay attention to how I pinned it down and just do the same. Pin down the dress first so you would get it accurately, because if you don't pin it down, there is a tendency that you might sew another side on another side. So the first thing to do is to pin it down. After that, I went ahead to fix the sleeve on the dress, and then this is how it's looking. This is how yours should also look, because you have added the lining, just like the lining to turn the cowl neckline. You added it to the sewing. That was the 3 inch I added, so it is going to make the dress come out really beautiful. The next thing is to add the passage of the rope, because I have a rope behind the dress to give it fitness. So I'm using 1 inch. And before that I marked out 15 inch for the first line, and then I marked out 2 inch apart from the first channel. I marked out 2 inch, which is total. The total is 17 inch, which is my half length. If you remember, my half length was 17 inch. So the first channel was 15, and 2 inch apart, that is 17 inches. And this is how it should look like at the end of the day when you are done fixing it. The next thing is to shape the dress. I used 1 inch to shape the dress downwards. You see how easy it is to make this dress. Just shape the dress and you are done. This is the final result of the dress. This is how the dress came out beautifully. And as you can see, I added rope to the shoulder of the dress. So this is to keep the neckline in place. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found this video useful, and if you'll be trying out this pattern, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you can get notified the next time I upload another video. Thank you for watching. Bye.